Hi everyone, welcome to this stretching series video. I'm Riley and I'm one of the coaches here at Jet alongside Jamie. I'm going to take you through a stretching routine that you can do pretty much any time, but obviously suggested to do after you've finished your training for the day or at the end of the day to wind down prior to bedtime. A good habit to get into is incorporating stretching into your daily or weekly routine. So here we go, follow along. Let's start down on the mat with our calves. We're just going to hold each stretch for about 20 to 30 seconds. Should feel this one down the back of your calf muscle. Change over. The next one we're going to do our hips or hip flexors, so you should feel this stretch down the front of your thigh. Just making a square with your legs. Standing up nice and tall. And trying to contract this glute muscle. And just gently pushing this hip forwards. Should feel a nice stretch. Then adding the arm up over the top, the side lean. Get a stretch down the side. And a bit more of a stretch at the front of your thigh. And changing over. Nice square. Tilting that pelvis, contracting that glute. In this stretch we're getting a bit of iliacus, our psoas muscle, and probably rectus femoris as well. And adding in the side stretching, getting a bit of our lateral abdominals and our quadratus lumborum or QL in the back. Changing over once again. Now we're going to lay down in front and just bending forwards, capturing a bit of the hamstring. Just try and lean forwards into this one. If you put your head down or your toes up, you get a bit of a neural stretch more so than the hamstring muscle itself. And from here, we're just going to drop that front leg down at 90 degrees in front of us and do a pigeon stretch. If you can only go up on your hands, that's fine. Otherwise, try and work down onto your elbows. You should feel this through your glute muscle. Back up, changing legs, left hamstring. Again, if you can get your hands flatter, that's great, depending on how flexible you are. Alternatively, you can do this one with a straight leg, but that's again likely more of a neural stretch. down again, leg at 90 degrees for our pigeon. And coming up from there. The next one is just nice on our sides. We're going to grab that foot and do a quadricep stretch. This one's really good if you keep your shoulders, your hips in line. And then just bringing that leg back. Trying not to arch the back too much so that you feel the stretch down the front of your thigh. And just pulling that foot in a little bit tighter. And letting go. Changing sides. Pulling that foot just a little bit tighter. Okay, just on our backs, another way to stretch the hamstrings through the glute, just hooking your hands, interlinking them behind your knee, and then we're just gonna floss a little bit up and down with the leg. For a count of 8 to 10. And changing sides. Just go as far as you are comfortable with, not pushing into pain, but just getting a nice gentle stretching sensation down the back of the leg. And coming up. Just another one for our hamstrings and our adductor muscles as well, the inside of the thigh. So foot up, hands on the inside of our feet, and then just coming up, lifting that back knee off the ground, and then just leaning forwards into the stretch. Some people will feel it in different places. I get it down the front of this side, down my left hamstring, and in both of my inner thighs or my adductors, groin muscles. This is just a nice stretch. Again, not pushing into pain, just a nice gentle stretch. And changing over. This leg up. Remember to keep breathing throughout stretching, particularly if it's part of your relaxation practice. Breathing into your tummy, in through the nose, out through the mouth. We're going to do a couple of glute stretches. We're also incorporating our back muscles. So just bending one knee at the front, crossing one leg over, And then twisting. This arm comes across the front and we're just twisting. You might feel it in your glute, but also in your back. I feel it in my upper back, just behind my left shoulder blade. Nice all the way down to my lower back. I'm changing over. Just get the front. Little crack in my back then. Some of you might get that. Getting this a nice stretch in this glute and also the right side of my back from my shoulder blade all the way down to the lower back. The next one is called the pretzel. So lying on our backs, one leg comes over the top, back leg on the ground bends, just grabbing that with your opposite hand, and the top hand comes underneath this knee. Just pulling on one hand and one foot and the opposite hand underneath the knee to give you both a quad and a hamstring stretch. And then with this top shoulder, just trying to get that as close to the ground as possible. Breathing in and breathing out, and just go a little bit further with that shoulder. In and out. A little bit further out. Last one. This is a great stretch for the whole spine and also our hip flexors, quads and hamstrings. Changing over, top leg over. Just trying to get that top shoulder down to touch the ground, rotating through the spine, maintaining the stretch in our legs. Last breath in. And now just grabbing the knees and just doing a little roll. Doesn't have to be big. Just stretching out that back. Coming to the end of your mat, just sitting on your knees, hands out behind you, and just lifting up the hips. And coming down, coming back up, resting. Going to go another 2 times, hands behind, reaching out, use those glutes, squeeze your glutes, pushing your hips upwards and forwards, stretching the chest out and coming down. And one more time. Coming down. Next one is child's pose, just reaching out in front and reaching with your hands as far as you can and pulling so you get that stretch through your lats and your upper back, dropping the head. Really pulling with those hands out in front. Breathe in, go a little bit further on the breath out. In and out, just drop the chest. Another 3 breaths. Just coming up again. And the next one. So this time we're just going down onto our elbows, cradling the head. And this time you imagine like you've got a string all the way up your spine. You're trying to lengthen that spring from your tailbone, pushing your tailbone out behind you. Should be a nice stretch for the lower back. And then just coming up onto your elbows and knees. And then returning back down, all the way down, pushing your tailbone out behind you. 3 breaths here. And returning once more, and last stretch. And coming up. This time, you can either sit with one leg forward, one leg backwards, otherwise bending the knees like this, whichever is more comfortable. We're going to do our mermaid stretch, reaching one arm over, opposite elbow flat on the ground. Just really trying to lengthen through the fingers. And coming up again, and to the opposite side. Changing over, feel free to repeat that stretch, pause the video if you feel like it. We're going to the opposite side now. Really reach with the fingers. And now changing to the opposite side. Coming up to sit on your knees. Now we can wrap one arm across the body, stretching our deltoids. 3 breaths. Just going a little bit further each time. And the opposite arm. And now our triceps, just over the back. Change arms if you haven't already. a chicken wing stretch, so one arm behind your back, opposite arm just grabbing that elbow, just nice and gentle, no need to push on this one. Feel a stretch on the outside or the front of your shoulder. And changing over. Now just reaching behind you, if you use a wall or a door frame if you like, just grabbing your hand onto something and trying to turn your body away just to stretch the pec muscles. I don't advise pulling too hard on your bike seat post, but it works for me, so whatever works for you. And changing arms. Should feel this front of your chest, possibly your bicep as well. And resting there, back to the mat. This time, we're going one hand behind the back, opposite hand just on one side of the head, and just going ear towards your shoulder, and just using your hand for a gentle stretch down the side of your neck. Should feel this down the side and into your traps, maybe down the side of your neck as well. Just being nice and gentle, not pushing too far. And changing over, other hand behind the back, stretching the head towards the other arm, using the hand just to place some gentle pressure. Aiming ear towards shoulder. And relaxing. Next one is nose going towards your armpit, arm behind the back, and then just adding a gentle pressure. You might feel this one into the back of your shoulder blade and down the back of the neck. And returning, just nice gentle stretch, swapping arms, nose towards the armpit. Coming back up. A few deep breaths to finish, in through the nose, all the way into the tummy, and out through the mouth. And that's it. That's Riley's stretching routine. I hope you enjoyed, and you can incorporate this into your daily and weekly practice. See you next time.